so bad. Meghan fabricated fake evidence that only confirmed that Archie and Lilibet did not exist. You all know I am hardly considered a Sussex supporter, but even so, sometimes I did think, wow, that's a pretty crazy thing to believe that these kids are just a complex fabrication that's fueled by Harry and Meghan. And then when they said that Meghan experienced a miscarriage and they took the remains from the hospital in a box and buried it under a tree, well, I had more than enough evidence to believe that they would lie about absolutely anything and everything. I mean, come on, obviously that never happened. Between these two people, there are simply no boundaries. Meghan lied about the miscarriage. The way that she claimed it happened was like a movie. Anybody who actually had the misfortune to experience a miscarriage understands that Meghan was lying again. She was just looking for attention once again. And as for those kids, I don't believe they're real. And of course, even if they are real, Meghan Markle did not give birth to them. You only need to look at the photos of her when she was claiming to be pregnant to understand the truth. I mean, it's actually pretty funny just to think about how stupid she believes that we all are. Why didn't they just come out in the open with the truth? Archofficial was not born at the hospital that Meghan and Harry claimed that he was born at. This lie was exposed, though, when the doctor they claimed was there said that she was not there. His birth certificate claims a different London hospital, and Harry, of course, as the father. Now, Meghan and Harry could have easily told the truth in the very start, and they could have actually gotten some sympathy from people. And guess what? Nobody would have cared because Harry and his invisible kids are never going to be anything vital in the royal family. Harry and his kids are going to be pushed further and further down the line of succession as soon as Prince George begins having his own kids. So actually, nobody cares about how their kids were born. Only because they're in the line of succession does it matter at all. And since they did not come from Meghan's body, they're not supposed to be there. Phony birth documents, lying about the birth times, lying about the doctors, and so on, and then nobody would be questioning the kid's existence was what they assumed. Well, as usual, everything they do is planned and plotted to keep themselves in the media, but behind the scenes, they're using the backlash to get sympathy from other celebrities. Now, who do those kids have playdates with? Bigfoot? I mean, where do they go to summer camp with the old Loch Ness Monster, I wonder? After all, there have been more photos of both creatures than we have seen of either child. Now, if they can use photos from kids online and claim that they're their kids, along with other claims, like claiming to have been in a near-catastrophic high-speed car chase in Manhattan, then what wouldn't they lie about? They claim to have buried a package that was given to them by doctors after the alleged miscarriage. They claim that people in the streets of Africa were so excited the day they got married that they were out in the streets celebrating. They claim that they were married in the back garden 3 full days before their spectacle marriage, as Meghan called it. We all know these are a bunch of lies, a bunch of fake situations pumped out by the toxic duo. I'm just naming a few. If they can lie about all that, then I'm sure they can lie about the legitimacy of these alleged kids. And the statement that Meghan made in the past about being one plane crash away from Harry being king, it's some pretty scary stuff. But anyway, that reveals her real motivation for wanting those kids in the line of succession. They also reveal why other people would be nervous and want to keep her far, far away. And if the kids are real, then how sad that they never get to leave the property. They don't have anything to play on, they don't have play dates with other children, nothing. Harry did say something about paparazzi at Archie's school, but he never goes to and from school, and nobody has children who go with their kids. They cannot keep the children hidden forever if they are real. So I think it's a lot better now that media outlets like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal are showing that they can see the truth. Before that, people could have easily lumped these 2 basket cases in with the rest of us, but you know what? The rest of us do not like dishonesty, we don't like cruelty, and we don't like cheating. Now, these guys are pretty much just out in a field making a fool of themselves. I do not understand why this fantasy appeals to some strange people out there. Thanks to the palace not denying or confirming the claim that they met with Lilibet, there's really no proof either way. But I believe that the airline staff who assured journalists that there are no kids present on the private jet flight that brought them here knew what they were talking about. And I also believe other claims that the photos of Her Late Majesty the Queen and King Charles with the alleged daughter of Harry and Meghan were absolutely photoshopped. So no, I don't believe that this meeting ever happened, and this supports articles that show where the photos were from and how they were photoshopped. Now with Meghan and Harry, there's not a whole lot of evidence to suggest that they actually care about the truth. That is the truth, not their truth, of course, that I'm talking about. They just cannot think things through. They just send stuff off to their PR people to give to the media. As usual, it's a big pack of lies coming from those two. No subject is safe from their fabrications. When Meghan needed to overshadow the Wales family, as they were then, who reported on social media their sadness at the loss of their beloved dog, all of a sudden, Meghan remembered that she had miscarried a few months before. And then she used a real experience, souped it up with her infamous word salad, and served it up in a 1,000-word article that I'm shocked the paper even printed without checking to see whether or not it was actually true. And then Harry, of course, had to rehash the whole thing as served up by Meghan, even more souped up with the harrowing details of supposedly bringing the remains back in a small bag and burying it with his bare hands. Now, both of those things would be completely illegal. And what in the world would stop some animal from digging it up? I mean, how scary, how disgusting. And then Harry claimed that he buried the remains under a tree that simply cannot grow in Montecito anyway. I mean, my goodness, next thing they're going to insist that pigs can fly. And a royal expert has weighed in, saying that it's really not all that odd. It's quite a thing for the famous to have babies by surrogates. There have been at least 2 this week. They are biologically the child of the famous one. They have rented a womb. So would Meghan do this? Why not? She loves to imitate her idols, after all. If there are kids, they are living the most pathetic, most dysfunctional life imaginable, and this is horrible. People can pretend all they want. Those kids are Harry's and most likely Meghan's, according to this expert. Now, if they are Harry's by blood, and let's get real, they are too wealthy to not buy children if Meghan cannot have them, then they are in line and are legally the king's grandchildren. He has legal rights to any child in line, so it cannot be used against the monarchy. If they bring them back into the country, the king would have to approve of them leaving. The Queen approved of them leaving once. Would the king do that too, though? They would be trapped in the UK without protection. This is a lot more than a power play. This is why they are so careful not to bring them, but not publicly claim that they're not bringing them. Another possibility could be that any photo with Harry and Meghan might outshine the king and queen. Now, the king and queen have spent a lot of money and even relationships trying to build her image, which is still not perfect. They cannot afford to have photos with them, and it's pretty complicated. So who do they choose to include? Her children? Only his? All of them? But do her kids not have titles yet? It might be because her ratings are not doing very well and they cannot afford the public backlash. And Harry is being punished for saying that Camilla is this horrible person. I think she's always going to be his enemy. At this rate, Harry will probably never have a happy photo with his family ever again. But at the same time, who does he have to blame for that? And you, what do you think about these kids? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like and share it with your friends and family who would enjoy it anytime you want. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.